All right, so you're not supposed to play the transitive property in college football, but when a team plays an opponent back-to-back weeks, or two different teams play an opponent back-to-back weeks, and one needs like some special teams magic to get a win, and the other just absolutely dominates the second half on the road, man, it's hard to not think about the transitive property. I know matchups are different. I know Cole's going to give us a good breakdown on South Carolina and Vandy, but watching how both teams played to open the season, you got to be more impressed with the way that Vandy looked than South Carolina did against Virginia Tech. So going on the road to Columbia is a much different story. Williams-Brice, we've talked about it. Lenora Sellers versus Diego Pavia, two similar quarterbacks, but certainly have a little more faith in Sellers. Certainly lean South Carolina here, but Cole, what's the path for Vandy to get this done?
Okay, so tell me that 2 years ago you were going to know that Diego Pavia from New Mexico State and this kid from Florence, Alabama that was known for wearing rec specs could have massive implications on the SEC. Tell me you knew that story. Because if nobody knew that this was going to be one of these signature matchups, we don't talk about it enough. And I have not seen many people at the national level bring up what this game means to both sides. For starters, Vanderbilt hasn't won in 16 contests, and this was an annual rivalry when it was the SEC East and SEC West because they played in the same division. They haven't won a matchup since Steve Spurrier's fourth year. Spurrier's going on 10 years retired at this point. So it has been a lopsided performance, even in downtimes for South Carolina. They just seem to have Vanderbilt's number. And to be completely transparent, the way that Vanderbilt looked against a team in their backyard versus the way that South Carolina looked against the exact same team on a neutral site field, you would lean Vanderbilt. They feel more polished offensively. They feel like that they have a better offensive line. They're generating a good pass rush. They rank in the top 25 in every single offensive metric and top 30 in every single defensive metric. You don't have that right now when it comes to South Carolina. They're only ranked inside the top 70 in one spot, and that's total yards per game. They rank 93rd in passing. They rank 97th in rushing. They rank 115th, I believe, in scoring. And also, they had the worst offensive line currently in the SEC. They've allowed 6 sacks in 2 games, including 3 by a South Carolina State team that was able to at least make this interesting in the first half before we saw Vakari Swain punt return for a touchdown. 2 Vakari Swain punt return for a touchdown. Might as well throw that in there. So how is Vanderbilt going to win this game? They're going to win the time of possession. They're going to be able to move the football efficiently on third down. That was an issue that was very much a problem for South Carolina's defense against against Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech just had turnovers at ill-advised times. That became such a major, major issue to where you saw capitalization from South Carolina. They're going to be able to, I think, walk away with points inside the red zone. And I'm saying that not selling for 3, they're going to have to get 6 because the problem is that you don't want Lenora Sellers to have that opportune moment where he just takes off and runs, gets to the second and third level of defense, and then he is off to the races for 6 points, 70-yard run, 50-yard run, and he can do those things. I think the other thing is that you're going to have to continue to see that rapport with Trey Richardson. He absolutely, in my opinion, was the difference so far for this offense from last season. It feels like that he has come on to Nashville and become a major staple of this passing attack. It's clear he is the number 1 receiver outside of Eli Stowers, the tight end. So can you eliminate his role and force you to have to work the intermediate part of the field where a Fred Johnson is sitting, who's a great linebacker, and taking over the mantle for Debo Williams from a season ago? The thing that I'm really interested in this matchup for South Carolina's side is, can you have one receiver break on out? You got it. And this was something that we talked about throughout the entire offseason and something that was an issue that I had with South Carolina going into the year. I liked that Nick Harbor was no longer running track and field. I like the fact that you had Amazio Bennett kind of take over that game. And I like the fact that you had 2 tight ends in Brady Hunt and Michael Smith that you could trust to be really good players as a replacement for Josh Simon. But I wanted a veteran. I wanted somebody from the portal that you could just say, he could be a difference maker. And it didn't have to be like, a superstar name, or it didn't have to be like a Ryan Wingo that maybe was going to have a little bit of an off the field issue, but just somebody to take pressure off and has been in this element before. And they said, no, we want to trust our freshman receivers. We like our receiving group. Okay, this is a moment that they're going to have to show up. This is a moment where they're going to have to prove that you are better than advertised and that you have taken the necessary jump forward to where you can believe this team is going to be more transcendent, more polished, and certainly be able to win its one-on-one battles. I know that you're going to get plays to Nick Harbor. I know you're going to get plays to Brady Hunt. But is it a Brian Rowe? Is it a Donovan Murph? Is it a Lex Cyrus? Is it a Jaden Sellers? who is going to be that freshman that we were so encapsulated with throughout all of spring practice that lives up to the moment in this matchup? Or is it going to be Van Jacobs? Is it going to be not Jacobs? Is it going to be Jared Brown, who could have a very, very good performance in this game, like he did last week and caught that touchdown pass? I think that this is really going to come down to the quarterbacks, and I think that also you have to realize these are two guys that are wanting to win so badly, and they play a game in a similar but different style. Both are physical, and they will do anything to get that first down. I think when it comes to Diego Pavia, the thing that stands out about him is that he has very good control of the offense, and he knows in a more timely manner when to tuck and run, when to be able to move it downfield. That is going to be something that I think is majorly critical for South Carolina in this game. You can't wait for a receiver to get on open Lenore Sellers. Sometimes you're just going to have to play Superman, and you're going to have to hope that you can get that first yard.
What's the thing that concerns you the most for South Carolina about Vandy?
For South Carolina about Vandy, you have Lenore Sellers as your quarterback. I mean, like, that's just kind of the basic line. I could say that the defense is going to end up having a big time pick, and that if you give them good field position, you can trust special teams to get the job done because it's a Beamer ball staple. But it's the fact that you have Lenore Sellers. I mean, Sellers just does things that at some point you have to ask yourself, how do you stop it? And there is no answer. It's just say thank you for doing what you did, get off the field, and now we have to respond. And that's something that I think is going to keep South Carolina in every single game. It's something that I think is going to be very beneficial to allow him to create second chances. What I also will say is, I think that this is one of those games where you have to be able to have a secondary element in the rushing attack. And that could very well be, it could be Rasul Faison, who got that eligibility waiver. It could be an Oscar Attaway. Somebody's going to have to take some pressure off of Sellers to be that dude, but the fact of the matter is you have Sellers. So because of you have a quarterback that has willing his team to a victory multiple times last year, including the Clemson game, he is still the guy that's leading the charge. If you have him, you have a shot.
I'll get right back to the video, but first I want to tell you, I have gotten the alert from Apple on this Sleeper app, and I spent way too much time on it last week. The folks at Sleeper would probably disagree and say you didn't spend enough time, but Apple tells you how much time you spend on every app, and I might have to back it down just a little bit because I've been obsessed with consistently checking it for scores, taking the live more and less game that we play on the Power 2, which is live every Wednesday here on this channel at noon. You can do all that on the Sleeper app. You can read comments of fans that are flipping out when their team has a big play go against them or a big score or a big game result. Listen, if you're in the NFL, they've got eliminator leagues. They've got pick'em leagues. All of my friends have their fantasy football on the Sleeper app. And right now, we'll save you some money. We'll get you some extra money by using the code CFA. That's CFA, gets you a 100% deposit match up to $100. Play the more or less game, make money with us every week, and really enjoy your time. It is your one-stop shop for all things college football, not only, but pro sports, European soccer, whatever you're looking for, they've got it. Sleeper app, check them out. Check their terms and conditions. Obviously, they apply. Read their terms of use. Appreciate Sleeper for their support. I like this to be closer than the spread. I don't know that I have the faith that Vandy can go in here and get the win, but I will take South Carolina 31-28. Cole, I'll let you finish. Tom, score.
I got this being 24-21. I just trust you got a quarterback down in Columbia, South Carolina, and 86,000 screaming war chickens listen to Sandstorm at Willie B. 21-21 final score. Give me South Carolina over Vanderbilt.
Give me the upset. I like Vanderbilt 34-31. Having the common denominator opponent really helps you actually make a good evaluation of these teams. I've seen a lot of people jump to the conclusion after the win against Virginia Tech for South Carolina that Lenore Sellers should be the Heisman favorite, all that sort of stuff. I have yet to see him just dominate a game this season. And considering the way that they really just didn't run the ball very effectively against South Carolina State, a little worrisome. I like a motivated Vanderbilt team going to South Carolina and pulling off the upset.
The thing I will say, just real fast before we move on, I am very much an adamant proponent that the AP poll messed up when it came to USF. They messed up by not ranking Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt has the better win and the better performance against a same common opponent. So if you just want to add more fuel to the fire to guarantee that they will see a number attached to their name for the rest of the season and potentially start off the year 5-0, yeah, I can understand a world where Diego Pavia is able to wield his way to yet another